Dang, so I was sitting in bed this morning and I woke up, I was checking out my YouTube subscriptions, and all of a sudden, boom, Ed Sheeran has dropped Castle on the Hill music video 1 hour ago, so I was like, alright, gotta explain this fast, especially because I have to go to work. But yeah, it's actually kind of a cool music video. It's very literal, and it's very Ed Sheeran, and it's very sweet and nostalgic, and dripping with all sorts of random emotions. So I think you're gonna enjoy it. I know I did. Let me explain. Hey everybody, my name is Clifford Stummy. I'm the pop song professor. Welcome to my channel where we're all about helping music lovers like you to understand the deeper meanings of popular songs so that you know what your artists are saying and you can enjoy your music more. Today we're talking about the music video for Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran. And to do this, we need to talk about three things: the music, the lyrics, and the video. Hey, just a quick note for you guys, before we get into the actual video, I want to recommend to you that you buy Tweed's headphones. Tweed's headphones are cool because they're braided around the wires so they never tangle up. They are just freaking awesome. Just super high quality sound. They come in a variety of colors. If you want to purchase one of these headphones, there's a link in the description down below. You can go there, use the discount code HEARTHEMEANING. You'll get 10% off. Back to Ed Sheeran. First of all, I think that the music is a lot more pop than some of his recent songs have been. Of course, he's been on that year-long hiatus, but the music from his last album, Multiply, seemed to be a lot more singer-songwriter. The two singles we've heard so far from Divide have a lot more full sound, I think, and I think they're a lot more energetic, poppy, a lot more likely to get radio time on the top 40. They seem almost engineered for it. Not that some of his past songs had any problem with getting airtime anyway. The lyrics in Castle on the Hill are about his childhood, growing up in Suffolk. He was born in Halifax, West Yorkshire, but his family shortly thereafter moved to Farmlingham. Moved to Farmlingham, Suffolk. So the Castle on the Hill in the title and in the chorus is a reference to Farmlingham Castle in Suffolk. It's an actual place. It's a pretty popular tourist attraction. First one is just a short vignette from his life. He's 6 years old, he's running from his brother and his friends, he breaks his leg when he falls, but he also manages to romanticize the moment when he sings, "And taste the sweet perfume of the mountain grass I rolled down." And then the last line of that verse is kind of the theme of that entire song. "I was younger then, take me back to when I," lead into the pre-chorus. Pre-chorus 1, he sings, "Found my heart and broke it there, made friends and lost them through the years." So it's just about growing up. It's about his coming of age story and how he became who he is. And he's saying that where he grew up had a large part in that, as it does for most people, right? But it holds a special place in his heart. He hasn't been there in a while, and he wants to go back home. On his way, he sings, "Driving at 90 down those country lanes, singing to Tiny Dancer, and I miss the way you make me feel, and it's real. We watch the sunset over the castle on the hill." Tiny Dancer is a 1971 song by Elton John, so there's a huge element of nostalgia here. Maybe this is a song he listened to growing up, and so he's going back through these country lanes that he used to know while listening to a song that reminds him of his youth. When he says, "I miss the way you make me feel," I don't think he's necessarily talking about a woman. I think he's talking about Suffolk. I think he's talking about Farmlingham and the area that he grew up in. Because that's what the song is essentially about. It's a searching to regain that way that it makes him feel. That's why he's listening to the songs and doing some of the things that he did when he was a kid too. Verse 2 is more coming of age stories. At 15 years old, he's smoking hand-rolled cigarettes, running from the law, getting drunk with his friends. He sings, "I had my first kiss on a Friday night. I don't reckon that I did it right." Nope, you probably didn't. Nobody does. I definitely didn't. And he finishes the verse with, "But I was younger then, take me back to when," which leads us back into a slightly different pre-chorus, but this one mentions finding weekend jobs, buying cheap spirits and drinking them straight, so it shows maybe a lack of discernment or a lack of pretension. But then he says, "Me and my friends have not thrown up in so long." That's because they've grown up and they don't drink themselves silly or get drunk. They're living more normal, mature adult lives. The bridge is interesting because it lists what 6 different people who were his friends when he was growing up have gone on to do now. And most of them are sad. I don't think that's because their lives have been completely terrible. I think he's just trying to say that, even though they might not look like the cream of the crop, like, they were a part of who he is, and so he values them, even despite the fact that he's just been so much more successful than a lot of people. One is selling clothes, which could, they could be selling a lot of clothes, so that could be good. One works down by the coast, it could be a good job. One has 2 kids but lives alone, so a divorce. One's brother overdosed. Just some really sad, really possibly very sad stories. And he concludes, "But these people raised me, and I can't wait to go home." So it's a pretty cool story that he's telling here, And he's trying to achieve this lost sense of nostalgia, which is always kind of a dangerous thing if you're not careful about it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, so as far as the music video goes, it shows a lot of kids kind of acting out some of the things that he's talking about. So, somebody's parent gets mad at one of the kids while they're drinking. They are drinking, they're watching like stock car races, it looks like. They're driving fast, they're smoking cigarettes, they're running down country lanes. Yeah, they look like they're doing a lot of very stereotypical young teenager things to do. Interestingly, all of these kids are actually from his high school. And the one kid who looks just like he did when he was young was from his high school too. The music video is not too complicated since it's mostly just acting out what's happening in the song. So now that you know what the song is about, it's a little bit easier to interpret what the music video is about. Essentially, they're just acting out a lot of the things that he's talking about in the song. It's interesting because a lot of Ed Sheeran's style is very, very literal. There's hardly... I really haven't heard a ton of metaphor from him. I See Fire, you could argue that, but I think that was actually literally about what the dwarves were doing in the Hobbit movie. But this song in particular, there's like almost no metaphor or figurative language whatsoever. It's almost all hard and fast, sense-based imagery, or details, or exposition, or history. He's a very literal person, and I think that's powerful because when you stick to what's literal instead of using these big, contrived metaphors, sometimes you're a little bit more true to the story, and so if you have an effect on people, it's a little bit more fair rather than kind of faking them into feeling something. That being said, there's not a ton to explain in the music video because it, too, is very literal. The one thing that I thought might be a symbol was the burning couch, but I think they were just having fun burning a couch. But yeah. So we'll see what happens. I liked this song better than I liked Shape of You. Shape of You was too far to the dark side of pop for me. You know, it wasn't even the dark side of pop compared to most things, but it was for Ed Sheeran. Like I said, he's a very literal person, and he writes about things that are very close to the heart, and Shape of You felt very... it felt like he was writing it for somebody else. But one thing I did notice with these two singles that Ed's just released is that he seems to be trying to distance himself from his old version of himself. I think he was always kind of like this short, slightly chubby, lovable guy that everybody just thought was the sweetest, right? And that's what a lot of his songs were. Shape of You is a little bit more bad boy. It's, you know, I want to have sex with you because your body is a nice shape. And then this song is kind of him growing up and coming back to a place that he was. It's kind of like he's distancing himself from that youth. And I honestly think that this is intentional. I think he's doing what a lot of female pop stars do after they turn like 21, and they just try to start acting a lot more adult so they can kind of take their career from the teenager phase to the adult phase. Ed Sheeran's 25, and I'll bet he's kind of ready to be taken a little bit more seriously. Alright, well thanks for watching everybody. Hopefully you have a better understanding of Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran if that's something that you're excited about. Don't forget to join the Song Meaning community and check out some of the other videos on this channel. If there's a song you'd like to hear me explain, comment below. We'll see what happens. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.